Let us now go to the Chassidus question, which is, does God need us? I've heard some rabbis say that God needs us, while other rabbis vehemently disagree, arguing that this statement is sacrilegious. Can you please clarify the issue?
If there's one sentence that needs to be publicized and shouted from the rooftops to change the world, it's this sentence. The Eibishter himself, in his full essence, desperately needs the mitzvah.
It's a big question. I give our share on that question. Does he need the mitzvahs? No, he didn't need the world to begin with. But once he created the world in a way that the world needs, he created the world as if he needs the mitzvahs.
God doesn't need anything. He didn't need to create the world. But since it's his nature to give, he needed, as it were, Kiviyachol, to create someone, meaning Am Yisrael, to give to.
Hakadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need anything. Hakadosh Baruch Hu did a toiva. The Rabbi Rucham Lvavitz in the Bracha says that the toiva that Hakadosh Baruch Hu did is that he made it as if that the world, that Hakadosh Baruch Hu is kilu and needs our mitzvahs. But Avad Hakadosh Baruch Hu is betachlas. Hakadosh Baruch Hu is perfect.
Hashem is perfect. He has everything. Elamai, he wants the perfection of mankind.
He's complete in himself. He doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need anything from us. But he loves when we give him our attention, when we do our mitzvahs for him.
Hakadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need it. We need it.
He's good and bestows good on all the creatures in this world, and that's why he gives us the opportunity to fulfill the mitzvahs. But he does not need me, I need Hashem.
This is a classic disagreement in Torah. You have a concept called Aveda Tzerech Geveya. Aveda Tzerech Geveya means that Aveda, Avadatem es Hashem Elokeichem, the service that we do, Aveda, the service that we Jews do, we humans do, Tzerech Geveya is not just Tzerech Hedyet, it's not just for us, for the good of people, but it's also Tzerech Geveya, good for Geveya, for heaven itself. I'll soon cite the sources, and there are two opinions on the matter. As a matter of fact, there are entire discussions on it.
Does God need your mitzvahs?
Right. So my answer to this is God doesn't need my mitzvahs. He wants them. And the reason that he wants them is because he has a plan for how human beings are supposed to live. Certain plan for Jews, certain plan for others. He wants to see us live according to this plan. This plan is Torah in the largest sense. Now what happens is that if we are not fulfilling that plan, then we're effectively distant from him. If we are distant from him, then this is a negative for him because his will's not being followed. But that's not the same thing as a need, because he is not affected, because he is in essence unchangeable. And therefore the problem that you're facing is a kind of tension between how you describe these things. That is to say, there is this God who is removed, so to speak, from what's going on in the world, and he cannot be changed. Then there are manifestations that we feel of God. Those manifestations may look like they are affected by whether I do or do not put on film today, or whatever else it is. But in reality, it looks that way because that's my perception. So therefore, we are affected in reality. We're changed by whether we do these things or not. Hopefully changed for the positive by doing them. But God can't really be affected. It's just the lack of fulfillment of his will. And he wants us to fulfill that will.
And clearly there are those that there are rabbis and there are sages that clearly say, yes, Aveda Tzedek Gevei, and they prove it with many different chazal. God needs us. You may need to explain what it means, but it definitely says so. Then there are others and other places that indicate that God is not, that God is indifferent and is not affected by our actions.
I have a quote here. It's a mamish a word from the Rebbe. It's in a Sikh Chayel Kofshin Yubeis. The Rebbe says, "Tzarech le'izboinen tchila she'avei de'tzarech devaya hi halu she'avei de'negas l'maylo v'ad l'maylo maylo she'en l'maylo l'maylo." It says in Yiddish, "Hecher and hecher and noch hecher, but hecher is nita, but tzmus and husi is barach." This is Chassidus. The difference between Chassidus and Kabbalah is that Kabbalah talks about godliness and Chassidus is about God.
Chassidus goes the other way around. It goes higher and takes the care and the need that God has all the way to Atzmus. But the key thing to remember, this is not a need as we understand need. At best, it's desire for it, and therefore it connects, and therefore it's negeya there, but negeya that's not nitfus, as he says in Ayin Beis.
Any questions? Any other topics? Yeah.
The concept of God needing us. I mean, obviously, that's like, we could have another lecture on that. Just like why, so God's an infinite being. He needed to create us so we could have a bond. But that need, it's hard to understand that need.
It is hard to understand because the word need means a lack because we're comparing it to our need. But don't compare it to your need for food, which he doesn't have, literally. Although every carbon, every sacrifice is his bread, right? Compare it to the human need for purpose in life. What is it about a human being that if he doesn't think there's a purpose to his life, he has to kill himself? Why is that? A long time ago, a woman said to me, I'm killing myself. I'm going to the bridge, I'm jumping off because it's meaningless. Life is meaningless. I said, you serious? She says, yes. I said, everything is meaningless? She says, yes. Nothing means anything? She says, that's right. I said, so what are you killing yourself for? Sit quietly, you'll die eventually. It's all meaningless. No, can't. Why? It's all meaningless. Sit quiet for 50 years, see what happens. Can't do it. If we don't have purpose to our life, then we cannot tolerate existing. Is that a weakness? Or is that what makes us human? Is that a handicap? Or is that a divine inspiration that just to hang around is not good enough? So when we say the word need, we mean that which is necessary. We don't mean a handicap. So I need to eat. That's embarrassing. Because I'd rather not need to eat. I need to breathe. Not when I'm swimming. Then I need to not need to breathe. I need to sleep. Not if I'm in the middle of an operation and I'm a brain surgeon. So the need to sleep, the need to eat, that's a weakness because I don't even want it. I don't like it. I don't know why it was imposed on me. If I had created myself, I wouldn't do that to me. But the need for purpose, that's ennobling, not diminishing me. When we say God has a need, it's the same as saying he has a purpose. So people say, oh, God has no needs. Did God create the world with a purpose? Well, of course. What do you think, he created it for nothing? Oh, so he has a purpose but no need? How do you figure that? He has a purpose that he doesn't need? That's ridiculous. So need means content, purpose, intention. The difference between creation and evolution is that if God created the world, then there's a purpose, there's a meaning. If evolution, then there's no meaning. Right? So we don't mean that God has handicaps. Of course not. We don't even want our handicaps. So we have to understand the word need correctly. But when God created the world, it's necessary or not necessary? Of course it's necessary. He created it. Did he do it for us? What do you mean for us? We didn't exist. When everything was perfect and there was just him, that was not good enough? So, need can be ennobling, not a handicap.
I thought it was great. It's nice to hear somebody speak softly.
you said God needs, did that like sit with you the wrong way?
Well, it didn't sit with me the wrong way. It's just that, like, my brain told me, okay, well, God's most powerful being. How does he need something? He didn't need to create the world if he's perfect and all-knowing and all. What's the need there? So just my philosophical mind is like pinpoint. Okay, need. Obviously, God doesn't need anything, so I have to ask the question, even though I know it's not really. It wasn't what he was trying to say. But I did like the answer. It was a good answer. It's not a need. It's more of a purpose. There's a purpose, and then that's another lecture, I guess. What's the purpose? That's it's a different story. But at least you got out of the pit of saying, okay, well, God doesn't need anything. At least you got to the next talk of the purpose. So I could use another lecture on that.